Recently, I got myself a PS3 Slim from my local Geek for $30. I replaced the non-existent fan. I had to solder onto the board, and I did general cleaning. I did not reapply thermal paste because I didn't actually have any on hand. Now I do, but before I actually do it, I want to get a before and after. So let's boot up the system. I also replaced the 80 gig drive with a 500 gig drive. That way so I can store a lot more games on this thing. No, not that. I want to go. No, no, back. I want to do this. And then I want to go here, here. Last failure of us. And what I'll do is I'll just let the PS3 idle at the main menu screen of last failure of us for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And we'll see what the temperatures are like. I forgot that when it comes to keeping this thing cool, I have it set up to kick the fan on when it hits 55°C. And it seems to be able to maintain itself. And it's currently in the process, I guess, of figuring out what the actual throttle percentage it needs to be at. Because it seems to go to at least 50% to maintain the temperatures I set. Which is something my PS3 Fat was never able to do. So hopefully reapplying thermal paste will actually allow the thing to maintain its temperatures a lot more efficiently at a lower fan speed. But it's only been running for less than 15 minutes. So I'm going to let it still run. Alright, so it's been about an hour or so, and it seems to maintain itself, though the fan RPM has gone up a bit. Hopefully reapplying thermal paste will reduce the fan kicking in as much. So with that said, I will come back when I take this thing apart to do the reapplying of thermal paste. Sadly, this is one of the models of both IHSs. I was hoping it was not the case, but seeing how well it's actually able to maintain itself even under load, I think just reapplying thermal paste will be more than what this thing requires. Obviously, a little bit of dedusting would also be necessary. But generally speaking, at least this one is able to maintain itself, unlike my fat model that I had a while back. Alright, cleaned off the board as much as I could. There are some dust that I removed, but I didn't do a full deep clean because this is my own personal. I'm not planning on selling it, and it doesn't need to be truly clean. But with that said, it kind of sucks that this is the one with the IHSs on both the CPU and GPU, but either way, I'm not going to do a delid on this one, at least not anytime soon, because currently it is actually able to maintain itself. Once it gets to a point where it's not able to maintain itself, I'll probably eventually do a delid, but only after I manage to get like a super slim, because I know the super slims are a little more stable. But then again, by then probably even the super slims will need to be delid at that point too. But going by what people say in the Facebook group I'm in, you don't actually have to delid the slims and super slims due to the way they're designed. But with that said, for thermal paste, this is what I'm going to be using. It should be more than sufficient for a PS3. So with that said, I'll do all this off camera and come back. Well, seeing how clean these came out, it's definitely safe to say no one actually opened this thing up, and I'm the first one actually touching it. Then again, that's to be expected considering it still had its original thermal paste. So with that said, I will come back when I get this whole thing put back together. And I thought I'll show the thermal paste application I do. This is a particular method I use for big IHSs, just like with my Ryzen 5 processor. I really hate doing those processors because they're so freaking massive. And doing 2 of them basically ate up all my thermal paste, or at least half the tube of thermal paste I bought. But hopefully, I don't have to open this thing up again for at least another 5 years. All right, 2 questions. Does it still boot up, and does the DVD drive still work? And I forgot to plug in the hard drive. Of course. So I'll go and do that. All right, hard drive's pulling up. Alright, so first thing I did need to do before I actually test the temperatures is obviously make sure the Blu-ray drive still works. Alright, Blu-ray drive still works. That was the one major thing I was worried about, because last time I tried doing this to like 2 previous PS3s I've owned in the past, either just taking them apart to clean them or doing a complete delid like I did with my second PS3 FAT, I destroyed the Blu-ray drive somehow. Or maybe the Blu-ray drive was already on the way out when I got it. I don't know. Either way, I'm happy it still works. So with that said, I'm going to put everything back together, button everything up, and come back and we'll see what the temperatures are actually like. Alright. Alright, so let's load up last failure of us again. And it's soft locked. Go figure. I'll come back when I get this figured out. Well, I just had to restart the system. Go figure. But with that said, let's see what the fan speed ramps up to when it goes to 55C. And yeah, so I'll just let it sit for a while. I sit here watching the console temperature rise and fall because I have it set to dynamic when it comes to fan curve. The music or whatever they're using for the first game, The Last Failure of Us, it's bad. It's legit bad. It sounds like a whatever the scratching a chalkboard or whatever the term is. That constant twanging noise from whatever string instruments being played in the background for the background music is just it's ear piercingly bad. So with that said, I'll let it sit for a little while longer. Alright, so it's been running a while and it's been able to maintain itself. The fan is actually, I believe, ramping down slightly more than what it was originally. I should actually take a look back at the videos I recorded, give me a bit. Alright, so yeah, reapplying the thermal paste has in fact increased the cooling performance. It was hovering around 52%, now it's running at 46%. Which means I'm fairly certain that if I go to set this at a locked 45% or even 40%, it should be able to maintain itself just fine. So I'll just end it here. Is it noisy? Yes. But if I keep it at that, or the RPM I have it, which is 75%, or 75, 45%, it will maintain its temperatures and it'll keep nice and cool for years to come. Now I do plan on actually covering this hole up and actually doing a separate video on this to see what the temperatures are actually like with and without the hole in the top. I think it's actually better to have it without the hole due to the way the PS3 is actually designed for airflow and whatnot. But then again, it may not matter because I'm running the fan at 45% instead of like the normal stock 20 or so. But with that said, it's nice to see that reapplying my thermal paste did not bust my system. I'm very happy to see that it works. And now I get to finally shut this annoying background music off because holy is bad.